We're gonna go live. All right. I just want to make sure Facebook is all good. Sometimes Facebook does give us some issues, but today we have a special episode that we're gonna go live on the podcast. We call it the MLS Millionaire Secrets with Ryan Zolin, and everyone that is in this Facebook group obviously will understand that you get the value first than anyone that actually get access to this. So I'm really excited for this new guest because he's doing something like that is quite different than anyone else out there that is just wholesaling. We got four visitors out here. If you guys are here live, just drop the live comment. We're gonna teach you guys some nuggets on how to utilize the millionaire secrets of the MLS. Okay, awesome. All right. Um, we have Ryan, and we are going to start the podcast real soon. It's just an intro, man. Thanks for being here. Okay.
Absolutely,
All
bro.
right. Let's get it started in three, two, one.
Mic check.
I'm good.
Mic check. Mic check.
You can read about success all day long, but if you don't put in the work, the mindset, execution, and the hustle behind your vision, it just remains a dream.
When everything goes wrong, you have to take all the responsibility.
We uncover what high-level entrepreneurs, business owners do to rise up from hustling daily.
So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances.
The world becomes your library to help you to become better at your craft.
Join me as I share with you actionable tips to help you grow your business, learn skills, and help you level up in your self-development journey.
Your number one spot for business and personal growth is the Online Hustlers Podcast with your host, Esteban Andrade.
What's going on, everyone that is listening to this new episode of the Online Hustlers Podcast? I just came back from an event called the Hustle Harder Club. And this event was in Milwaukee, in the middle of Midwest. And it was a great event for me to meet individuals like the one I'm going to present to you that has been able to utilize different strategies that usually wholesalers or real estate agents would do in order to generate high commissions or just high assignment fees. And usually we don't see this, so that's why it's going to be very exclusive uh, and very limited training or just a podcast that we're going to be having today because not everyone does this, and the ones that do probably don't do it as well as him. And we're going to be using the power of the MLS system. So I have my guest today, Ryan Zolin. And thank you, man, for being here. How's everything going?
It's good, man. I appreciate you having me on. This is an awesome setup.
Thank you, man. So we have here this podcast to give and provide free, actionable, valuable steps and tricks or hacks or anything for
Sure.
people that are hustling out there in the wholesaling space, and obviously they want to be able to grow their business or continuously sustain their business for growth. We have had awesome speakers and guests. I think that you're going to be one of the ones that provide a lot of value from what I've seen. You have been able to go to these events, create this new agent investors brand where you're helping real estate agents just shift the way that they do things traditionally and be able to work together with real estate investors, with wholesalers. And the same thing for wholesalers, being able to work with real estate agents. We usually have these perceptions of real estate agents of being lazy, they're entitled, people that do not work hard, don't pick up their phone, or don't follow up. But you are going to be able to make a change there. So really excited for that, Ryan.
I appreciate it, man. We're trying to make a difference. At the end of the day, I didn't realize the need for agent investors until even just recent. It was 3 years of me trying to be an investor, going direct to seller, just like every other investor that I know. Especially being out in Arizona, it's very, very easy to be direct to seller focused, go creative finance. We're out wholesaling 101 to, I don't know, there's just shiny object syndrome out here. There's so many big level players out in Arizona that I had to do something different. So the thing that I always say, and I say this on a lot of shows and stuff, is what I was able to understand is that as an agent, I was an agent 3 years prior to being an investor. The hardest part of being an agent is to find a client. The hardest part of being the investor is to find the deal. So if I can understand that the hardest part of being the investor is to find the deal, what do people do when they go direct to seller? They're looking for motivation. They're looking for any type of factor that's going to push somebody to need to sell, and preferably with high motivation to where they're going to take less money than what it's worth. So that's the direct to seller method. Where I knew people were already willing to go to sell their house is the MLS. So then I started telling a bunch of the people out here, I'm like, yo, I'm going to start going and finding deals on the MLS. I wasn't the guy that was super loud about it because partially I was embarrassed. I ran out of money. I didn't have any money that I could go and do direct to seller anymore. So when I was going direct to MLS, I at least knew that I knew how to talk to agents. I knew what the conversation was going to be like. I had already done probably close to 100 million in transactions by this point. So I got rid of a lot of limiting beliefs. So it's been really cool. Now I'm able to kind of bridge that gap, like you said, and it's been a fun journey.
Awesome. You started this when you were like 18. Your game in real estate.
Yep.
You started as an agent.
Yeah.
Okay. How did that go? Like during that time, trying to like hustle your way into real estate, all the way to like finding out that you can just use this system.
Yeah. Dude, as an agent, I sucked. Like I was the worst agent. Part of it was that I had so many limiting beliefs. Like I didn't even think that I could be an agent. At 18 years old, why would somebody trust me with the biggest purchase and sale of their entire life? So I started relying on relationships. Now, this is a strategy that I think people should do regardless. I just really doubled down on it because of my age. But I think that you should be willing to take less to learn from bigger people. So I did that. I was willing to work for free or take very small percentages to be in rooms where it gave me some kind of credibility, but also that false sense of confidence that I needed at 18. So I was willing to work on teams and have partnerships to where I was referred to as the social media guy. I used to wear fake wedding rings. So people would be like, how old are you? I'm like, I'm like 25, man. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Like nobody would question that. But then also too, when you're saying you're a social media guy, if you're the younger person, or at least the youngest person in the room, nobody's going to question if you were the social media guy or not. So even though I was the guy getting a small percentage of the deal, I just played it off. I was like more of the, I know my place, I guess, role. And I was willing to do that for the first few years. It unfortunately was a grind. I mean, I said unfortunately because it was a grind for not a lot of money. Like the amount of effort that I put in was twice as much as I work now. So I was working 60, 70-hour weeks, and that's just the agency side for you. What I also tell people when I try to give them my story is that I think we all can agree we get into this business for freedom and flexibility. You don't necessarily get that as an agent. You're showing houses when people are free, and people are free on the weekends and nights. So my agency side was not the best, which is what got my attention going to the investment space. And that's where I've been doubling down since. So I've been working on that side for the last 3 years.
Yeah, in order for you to really be successful as an agent, you need to understand that at the beginning time, it's going to be something that you probably are not going to have. But you realized, and the thing you share with me, that you were able to have time to be on your side as you evolved, and obviously like being able to take better action and be positioned with better players or just people that are out there doing something differently. So that time is being more valued than what it is that you could do as an agent. Like when you first find out that you could take the MLS as this vehicle to basically do your wholesaling or flip basically properties out of the MLS, like what were you looking for at the beginning? Like how did that even come up?
Yeah. So, like I said, I ran out of money. Like I didn't have the ability to go direct to sellers. So the alternative was to just give up and quit. So I went where I knew it was free. I knew where, again, this is where I had the epiphany of the hardest part of being the investor was to find the deal. So when I went on the MLS, I mean, it was the same thing as when you go direct to seller, what do? You have to go pull lists from the counties or from websites. You have to go and skip trace those lists. You have to go and send them up to your VAs or import them into your own systems and text, cold call, send RVMs, whatever it's going to be. I was doing all that. So I knew that you have to go and identify motivation. It's the same concept on the MLS. So at this point in time, days on market, it's always a great thing to go after. Right now, very specifically in time, it's the best thing to go after. But back then it wasn't. So back then it was, let's pull pre-foreclosure off the MLS. Let's pull probate off the MLS. There's a category in Arizona called fix-up needs repairs. Let's go through that category. Let's go through any of the remarks, public or private, the private being the ones that only agents can see. And let's look up keywords like motivated. If an agent put in the remarks that their seller is motivated, you know they're wanting to sell. So pick up the phone and call them. And a lot of times it wasn't even the deal that you would call that was on the MLS. It was the deal that they had that was coming up, or the one that they knew of that was a pocket listing, or the seller they had in their back pocket, whatever, like anything like that. That's where I thrived. My very first deal, when I went in and I got it off the MLS, we got the commission and an assignment fee. And the commission was a mistake. I didn't even know I got the commission. We did the deal just like normal. And I got my assignment fee, and my transaction coordinator turned over and he was like, yo, what are we doing for the splits of the commission? And I'm like, what commission? And so I freaked out and I went to Steve Trang, who's my broker. And I was like, yo, this happened. He's like, did you disclose? Did you use an assignment, purchase contract? EMD was in, had your inspection period, signed off on the bins, or everything's good. And I'm like, yep. And he's like, okay, we could do this. So that's where the double dip was like invented. And I didn't do it on my own. I mean, it was literally me, my team. We had our buyers just like a normal wholesale deal. It was just the commission came at the end, and it was like an extra $8,000-$9,000 that you're like, let's do this. This is a business model. So,
yeah, this is huge, man. And like I said, a lot of people try to do this, and a lot of people are trying to find creative ways to generate money in real estate. And there's so many, and these real estate agents sometimes are just stuck in, they're always revolving. Like, I have to go do showings. I have to do all these walkthroughs in the properties with sellers, and they're not making decisions fast. And like, there is so much opportunity here. You made $1.2 million in the first 3 months at the beginning of this year, man. And
with this strategy,
and you did that utilizing this. Like, obviously, you put a lot of work and effort and sacrifice in order to find out like what are the steps. But like, if you were to, like, for example, tell an agent right now that is listening, man, I know that you can actually do a lot of more damage in the MLS and utilize the skill set that you have acquired through time. And what will be the first steps that they actually have to take in order for them to get a good deal from the MLS?
Yep. So first thing, it's before you even really get started, but it's a mindset shift. You have to understand to become the buyer. You are the buyer. You are your client. A lot of times, that whatever reason, if it's oh, is this even illegal, or this can't be done, whatever the limiting belief is, I try to eliminate that from the start by saying, let's break this down on a legality purpose. And this is where I've gotten this approval from the Department of Real Estate. That's how far this whole movement is gone. I have a fiduciary responsibility as a real estate agent to my client. My fiduciary responsibility to my client is who? My client is myself. My client is me as a buyer. We are not going into these transactions and getting a commission and an assignment fee by representing the seller. That would be wrong if you were to charge the seller a commission and then also rack up an assignment fee. That's not what we're doing. Our fiduciary responsibility would be to them. So our fiduciary responsibility is to our client, with us being a buyer. And so our fiduciary responsibility to ourselves, we are the buyer. Understand that. That gives you the confidence. Repeat that with us. You are the buyer. So now when you go into these transactions, it's like I said, you're looking for motivation. I would identify having a buyer first, like lined up aside from yourself, or at least a money backing partner. This would be a proof of funds letter. This is maybe somebody that's going to put up EMD if it's not you yourself, but this is somebody else that's going to have that stamp of approval that's going to go on it as well. Then you're going to go and identify properties. Look at the motivating factors like pre-foreclosure, probate. Personally, I'd recommend the two hottest at this current day and time is days on market and private remarks. If you can go in during private remarks and identify motivated, as is, price reduction, whatever, something along those lines, with days on market being 30 plus, you know you have a motivated seller. You know that they want to sell their house and it's sitting on the market. So once you have those three key pieces in place, the deal should hopefully start aligning after you've done enough.
Wow. And this is essentially free marketing. Like, you have everything at your disposal right in there.
Yeah, man, we don't spend anything in marketing. I mean, like, we just started like implementing some systems like where we're doing like text blasting to agents on a pretty substantial level. But I mean, we made millions with doing this with just cell phone. So.
All right. So you need a cell phone. Obviously, you need to be able to have access to MLS. But what about the brokerage that is going to represent you? Like, how does that come into play?
Yeah, so you can find agents anywhere. I mean, personally, you go into social media and you say, "Hey, I'm looking for a real estate agent." You're probably going to have at least 15 to 20 that pop up. Out of those 15 to 20, the beautiful thing that you have to remember here is that you don't pay them. You are the buyer. So if you're not licensed and you don't have access to the MLS and you have an agent that's representing you, the person that pays the buyer's agent is the seller. So you basically just have them represent you. They submit a bunch of offers. You get something under contract. You would then take that contract. You could assign it to an end buyer. You sell the deal. You get paid. Now, obviously, it's not all that cut and dry. There's deals that cancel. There's inspection periods that go south and renegotiations happen. That's all part of the process. You're going to learn as you do. So it's going to take time. Personally, I would say like what I've been telling people in the past is you need to be talking to like 300 agents right now. What I just spoke on in Milwaukee was you need to talk to 1,000. You could talk to 1,000 agents as soon as possible, and you're submitting 3 to 5 offers per day. You're going to get deals done.
Great. Okay. So that's obviously like we're seeing both sides, wholesaler and agent side. So if
Yes.
an agent wants to actually come in and actually learn how to be an agent investor, that already licensed, been doing real estate for some time, but really want
Yep.
to make a shift, like do they have to be like in a brokerage that allows this type of things, or like for I know that you went from being a stunning home realties with Steve Trang, and now right now you're at Real, is that right?
Yep. So Steve shut down the brokerage. He decided to move everything over to Real, and so I followed Steve over there. It absolutely matters where you hang your license. If your broker is not supportive or even understanding what you do, it's going to be an uphill battle. So being at Real, the reason I went there is that it's a multi-level marketing company. I don't try to sugarcoat it or try to do any sales pitch type thing like that. If people vibe with us and they want to align, they will come with us. But it made sense because they wanted the wholesale addendum to be redone by the entire brokerage. So Steve Trang is the person responsible for doing it for the entire country. Real is like in 46 or 47 states. They should be nationwide, hopefully by the end of the year. But it also allows us to be at a brokerage now that impacts and we can provide value to a bigger community in return, obviously, of them being under us and growing with us. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a cool way they're part of the team, but not it's not, again, the sales pitch. That wasn't where I was going with that. The brokerage side does matter. You need to be with somebody that's wise with Steve for so long. I had Keller Williams. I had a bunch of other brokers that were hitting me up saying, please come, please come. We would love to have you and your team and your business over here. And I just like that smaller mom and pop shop brokerage feel that Steve provided. And he was the biggest wholesale friendly brokerage in the state of Arizona. So while they were one of the smaller in quantity of agents, they took up almost 1% of the market share consistently month after month after month. So a lot of big players
Yeah.
over there.
So if when they go to the proper brokerage, like obviously, what is it? Real is the
Ryan
one
Pineda,
that,
yep.
yeah. This are they? If you have an agent under you that, for instance, what is like, hey Ryan, you know what? I want to sign up on Real with you
Mm-hmm.
or with your team. Like, what should people expect that a true very value driven brokerage should give them in order to be successful with like this type of concept agent investors? Like what are you going to be able to provide to them, or what
Sure.
should they
Yeah.
be
So
expecting?
like me specific or like what people should be looking for if they end up at a brokerage.
Yeah,
Like is that
what are they, what should they be looking for in order to make sure to become an agent investor?
so if you're ending up at a brokerage, like you got to find a guy like Steve, and Steve's a 1 in a million, but like you got to find a guy that's gonna be a mentor to you. You got to find someone that's going to be aware of what you're trying to accomplish, someone that's currently doing what it is that you're trying to learn. So that's where I think most people go wrong is that they try to learn from people that say they do it, but they don't actually do the business, or they try to be somebody that they're not, anything along those lines. What you need to do is find a brokerage that can help you. Don't go to the place that's going to offer you just here's the more agency training bullshit. What you need to do is you need to find somebody that maybe it is one-on-one mentoring, maybe it is coaching calls weekly, maybe it's giving you leads. Find out what that is that matters to you. Personally, I will tell you from my experience is that on the traditional side, what people seem to care about on teams and brokerages is leads. Whereas on the investment side, what they care about is what kind of systems and trainings do you provide. So it's a very distinct world difference. And I've seen it time and time again. I go and I train a lot of teams and I see stuff at brokerages. The agency side cares about the leads. Don't care about the leads, care about the experience, care about the trainings like on the investor side. If you can learn and get the personal development, just your vibe will attract your tribe. What I portray out to the world is what's going to come into my business. So if what comes in my business, I need to make sure I'm helping them. I want to make sure the people that are in that same spot are the same people that are also looking for that help from me. So the people that are inside of our office for the team, people that are at the brokerage, stuff like that, we know they're people that it's a win-win scenario where we could help them too. So just make sure you're looking for that same mentality from whoever your mentor is going to be.
Yeah, that's a great answer. What type of, like, what's the best deal that you've gathered as an Asian investor so far?
Best deal. I don't know, man. We've done some crazy ones. I mean, my biggest one I've done like on an agency side, we listed it 9.7 million car wash, but I think it sold at 7.9. I think it was at 7.9. But then as the investor side, I mean, we've done a deal where it was a 6-figure plus rip. I mean, we had like an 80K assignment on it. We had 40K in commission. It's like 120K off of one deal. And it was a deal that if we were just an agent, I mean, we would have made a quarter as to what we could have made if we hadn't been an agent investor. So.
That's great. Now you said a car wash, so this was
Yeah,
like a big.
yeah. So as a traditional agent, man, I got a fun like background. I'm super young. I'm 24, right? But like 18 to 21, I was not just a traditional agent. I was a commercial agent and a business broker agent. So as a traditional agent, what most people don't realize is when you have a real estate license, you can actually do some crazy sales. So you can sell. I always butcher this one. This is how much I didn't pay attention in real estate school. You could sell like something with what is it? Something like tombstones or some shit. I don't know. It's like crazy. Like you could sell that. You could sell timeshares. You can sell commercial buildings. You could sell businesses. You having a real estate license, you're allowed to transact and get a commission as an independent contractor in a field of different things. And most people don't know that. So I was fortunately in a situation where I had a business partner. He was a mentor of mine. That we grew a team where I was super young, but he was more in the commercial space than a traditional agent. I was trying to learn how to be a traditional agent, and he just said he'd teach me. He was the one guy that I knew. So that guy ended up introducing me to commercial deals where we sold light industrial buildings. We sold commercial, like small little businesses. Like the office that I'm in right now is a commercial building that I was able to negotiate the lease from that experience. Business broker side transactions, we sold a sub shop, a nail salon, a recording studio, a pizza place. We sold one was like a trading card company. I have like crazy experiences through real estate. It's awesome.
Nice. I mean, it seems like you've been in the sales game either way, and a lot of agents just lack that part too, or don't realize, or are maybe just entitled that say, oh yeah, I can take care of it, but like they being only getting referrals after referrals, which it's a different game whenever talking sales. So has this sale, like how has sales actually changed the way that you do now agent investors right now?
Sales didn't really help too much with the agent investor side because that was more of just like logistical things we had to do to like structure deals. The sales side helped being able to close them. So it helped with not even just agent investor stuff. It helps with getting deals on the traditional side in general. It helps with being able to buy more flips and get just life skill. Honestly, I feel like sales skills help in everyday life. So I was fortunate again to be able to learn this from Steve Trang. He went through a bunch of Sandler training and he taught all of it to me. He's one of the top sales trainers in the entire country. He's the guy that, again, I can vouch for because he taught me what I know and introduced me to everybody. But I would say that it's a need, man. Like those are some things that it's a skill set that you need to understand of how to present yourself into a conversation, how to be able to know where you want it to flow, more importantly, know how to close. That was something that was kind of instilled for me from the start. That same guy I was talking about a minute ago, his name was Jeff. He was the guy that helped me with commercial deals and business broker. Actually, I have 1 or 2 deals right now with him at the current moment. And Jeff used to make me meet him at a coffee shop. And he always used to say, coffee's for closers. And so he'd make me meet him at a coffee shop, but he wouldn't let me order a coffee until we got our first deal. The minute we got our first deal, then he was like, here you go. Here's the coffee. Bought it for me. But yeah, so need those sales skills.
That's great. Yeah, for anyone that's listening, and he mentioned Steve Trang. We actually had Steve Trang in one of the episodes. Maybe it was like episode 3 or 4, somewhere in the beginning, where he actually goes through his entire sales process and really teaches a lot of nuggets. So go back to those episodes, man. Like that was incredible. I mean, you must obviously be creating a system where you currently are always generating these opportunities in the MLS, you must have already a system to generate leads. Like what would be the best way or the most efficient or effective way to for an agent to come to MLS and start being like, okay, let me just call this person, call this person, call this person. Like, what are those steps?
Yep. So I think it's important for me to start off by telling you that I didn't have a system until like literally a year ago. This last year was my first year of like a prove it year. I want to be able to show everybody that you can do MLS deals and work with agents. After I started connecting to a few of the deals and I started making some money, I was like, well, wait a second. Why am I going to go spend money on direct to seller when I clearly failed at that and I'm making money with MLS deals and agents? So I doubled down on that. I think it's important for everyone to understand my first 2.5 years of doing this model specific, it was literally a notepad and it was an Excel sheet and I have no idea what I'm doing with anything tech and I was just categorizing. So I was putting agents into a specific tier structure where I was like, if you responded, you're in this tier. If you responded with this answer, you're in this tier. This is my notes. This is when I contacted them. And literally my Excel sheet was as basic as first name, last name, phone number, email address, date I first outreached, next follow-up date, any notes, are they a VIP agent? And it was like those 8 categories. Once I had that, I'm like, you're good to go. You're in my system. And then I would just follow up with them. As for the MLS, my structure wasn't even a system. It was literally every night I would have my automated email set up. I'm an agent, so I could set this up myself. If you're not an agent, you could have an agent do this for you. But I would have my searches set up to where it would say public remarks Gilbert motivated, private remarks Gilbert motivated, public remarks as is Gilbert, whatever. And it had all these different breakdowns, but it was emailing it to me every day. So first thing in the morning, a lot of those gurus will tell you like, get up, drink a glass of water, stretch, do yoga, whatever, do your whole morning routine. I would literally do exactly what everybody says not to do. And they're like, don't get on your phone right when you roll out of bed. I would turn over, I would have my phone and I would start scrolling through all my emails and I would find all the ones that were sent to me. And this is human nature. You're going to start going and being drawn to the lists that you're finding a little bit more success to. And then all of a sudden it started stacking. So I had deal after deal after deal that I was like just looking at. These aren't even deals under contract. These are properties I'm just like I've put down some kind of like a mental note of these are the ones I'm going to go after. So first thing in the morning I roll over, I'd go through, I'd see those properties. What would I do when I first got to the office? I would go and I'd call those properties because now first thing in the morning, my first win that I checked off was being able to see what I thought was a deal. Now I'm being able to go and actually underwrite them, call the agent, build a relationship, hopefully even submit an offer. And then you do that enough times in a day, 5 offers per day, enough outreach done, then you start getting a deal. It's inevitable that over time, then it will start to connect. And then all it takes is one. It's like Brent always says, you transition that from faith to fact. Once it becomes fact, now it's just repetition. How can you repeat that? And that's what I did.
Yeah.
No system.
I mean,
no system.
Reaching out to agents might be a little bit of it's like a B2B type of approach, right? Like a business to business.
No, I get what you're saying, but like not necessarily in my sense. I lead with being an investor first and then the agent. By the time we get to talking about a deal, they know that I'm licensed and we'll figure out commission, whether it's them representing me or me representing myself. If they brought it to me, they can represent me. Other than that, if I found it, that's the last resort, is having them represent me. It's not necessarily a B2B conversation because if I'm coming across as the consumer, it's just honestly, it's a pretty easy conversation. And this is one of my biggest arguments about direct to agent and MLS deals is that your conversations are going to flow a lot better than direct to seller. Direct to seller, you're probably the 50th person that's trying to talk to them that day, and you're going to be lucky if they don't cuss you out on the phone. With me, remember what I said, the hardest part of being an agent is what? It's to find the client. So if the hardest part of being the agent is to find the client, the minute you call and you identify yourself as an investor, the only people that are going to like weed themselves out as bad agents are the ones that don't want to work with investors for whatever reason. So the ones that want to work with you, or even agents that are struggling to find business, you are the unicorn. This is the part that I really want to like hit home here is that what are agents used to as a transaction? This is what I did for 3 years. They're used to 30-day closes. They're used to financing contingencies. Hopefully that my client doesn't buy a car in the middle of the transaction. They're used to inspection periods where this house needs to be livable. And I hope that the house isn't falling apart with an inspection report that's going to have 200 plus pages, which is completely normal. We've got influence of friends and family. We have appraisal contingencies. We have like all these different things where I'm listing off that could fall apart. Whereas on the investor side, cash as is, quick close. No financing contingencies, no appraisal contingencies because we're cash. It's easy, it's smooth. We are a unicorn client to the agent. And what they need to understand is that agents that are ready to work for you, they will work for you. And the minute they have a listing, their job is to sell. You don't even need to try that hard. There was a deal that I'm talking about with my students later today that I literally just got. It was one call I made for my team. One call, I know I'm going to get it. I got it $20K off the list price, but we have a buyer that's willing to buy it as a buy and hold that I think will take it $10K off. So we're going to make a $10K assignment plus commission off that deal. Like, it's not rocket science. I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm nothing special. I'm not that smart. I just found ways to build good relationships, build win-win relationships, and lead with value first. And then it all played itself out over time. Now I'm in some big rooms. I got some really cool friends and guys that I look up to, and I'm fortunate to even have in my world. So,
Yeah. Oh man, that's huge. I mean, look, a lot of agents have limiting beliefs towards other investors and wholesalers. They might just hate them for some reason. But like, why?
Sure.
Why do you think like usually agents just have this bad, just they don't like investor?
Naive. They don't know. They don't know what they don't know, and that's okay. I mean, that's my job while I'm here. That's exactly why I started Agent Investors. I'm not here to, like, whatever they're feeling, they're probably right. You probably worked with a bad wholesaler. Wholesalers, you probably worked with a bad agent. That is part of the process. What I try to relate it to is, are you in sales? Let's start there. Okay, you are? Great. Are you in real estate sales? You are. Do you call sellers all day long? Oh, you do. Do you go 10 for 10? You call 10 sellers, you get told 10 yeses, and you buy houses for 40 cents on the dollar right now, 10 times in a row? No, call more than 10 agents. Call more than 50 agents. That's why I'm saying right now, talk to 1,000. Out of 1,000 agents, I'm hoping to God you get probably 150 that are good. But that's a 15% hit rate. That's about what our conversion rate is right now on we're sending about 100 per day. We're getting about 15 responses. Now, out of those 15 responses, we're generating 5 to 6 good ones. But I'm telling you, I want a 15% conversion rate of a good agent. And part of the hardest part of being an agent, I mean, let's not give them all that credit. Like, I'm an agent. It's okay. I can say this, but you guys don't answer the phones. Why? The minute your phone rings, you are on call. This is what I just said. You don't have the financial, or not the financial, you don't have the freedom and flexibility of just life as an agency side. You can if you have everything delegated out and outsourced, but you need to have a team in place, transaction coordinators, showing agents, listing agents, buyers agents. Like, you need everything in place. So why aren't you answering your phone? Like, money's calling you at any given time. So that's why we're texting. That's why we're texting. We're trying different approaches. So I'm here to bridge the gap for agents and for investors, and let's work together, because what they don't understand is that we are each other's greatest assets.
Yeah. Now, it's been a great episode so far, and I really want to end up, like, for an agent may be confused, but man, like, I have this property listed in the MLS, and like, I know that if I do my marketing properly and find proper buyers, I'm gonna be able to get something out of this. But why should I work with you? That now you have approached me. Like, what is it that you got to give me? And like, how are you gonna like make a difference? Like, now I have it listed here, and I think we're gonna do something. Like, what's your like added value? What's your approach? Your offer?
Like, to an agent that has a listing?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I call an agent that has a listing, and I'm trying to get the deal under contract.
Can you do that?
Yeah, absolutely. So my thing, why I'm different, I'm the easiest buyer to work with. So I guarantee you right now, if you get another person that's going to call you and offer cash, and they're not willing to put down 5 to 10K hard EMD, they're a wholesaler. It is what it is. I want to teach agents how to qualify out buyers, and that's my job, part of what I'm doing. I'm not trying to be a dick and lay down traps or anything like that. But what people need to understand is that as a wholesaler, you need to put down hard EMD sometimes and show everybody that this is a deal that you're willing to commit to. So that's kind of what we're playing right now, is on some deals where it's a slam dunk, we're willing to put down hard EMD on them. So I will be the easiest buyer you could work with. I will have that EMD released the minute it is deposited to the seller if they'd like. With that said, I have a 10 to 14 day close. I need to get inside the house a few times just for some showings and inspections. Obviously, I'm going sight unseen. I'm seeing the property condition from the photos here. Assuming there's anything like big structural, plumbing, engineering, electrical that needs to be redone here, I'm going to move forward in the deal. And at that point, I've set the expectation. I would like to get somebody out with an inspection right before my EMD goes in. And then at that point in time, I will also like to make my EMD deposit due at the end of the inspection period or halfway through. Now, that's something we just started implementing. I actually It wasn't even really my strategy. I learned this from some people that are in astroflipping with Jamil Damji, where they started doing this. And I got to be real with you, my first initial response was like, I don't love that, because I feel like EMD as an agency side, that's where my head was, should go in right away. As an investor side, it does make sense if it goes in after the inspection period, because then you're 100% protected in the deal if you cancel. So what we do is we like to put it right in the middle or towards the end of the inspection, make it nice and fair for everybody. And yeah, I mean, from there, we're just the easiest. We're the easiest buyer that you'll work with. And the alternative is you sit on market, you take a financed offer 30 days out. Hopefully they don't cancel. Hopefully their rate is locked in. I mean, we'll see.
All right. And one of the last questions I want to ask you is how can someone really be like successful transitioning to this? Like what do you think that they need as an agent investor in order to truly crush it?
Going from an agent to an investor, right? Yeah,
agent to an investor. Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to be open-minded. You got to be determined. This is all stuff that comes from anything in life about being successful. How bad do you want it? A lot of the open-mindedness that I ask from people is that the things that you've learned is completely separate in the investment world, and it's a lot more fun. It's nothing unethical. It's completely fair. Everything we do is, if anything, it's leading more to the alternative of them being more fair than not. So we take care of everyone around us, all the investors, all of our clients, all the realtors we work with. Everybody wins. That's the most important thing. Aside from that, it's just massive action. Everything that you've been doing and some of the hardest things that have held you back from success in being a traditional agent is on the other side of being an agent investor. You become the client. You are now recession proof. The market goes down. You're not reliant on buyers or sellers or any clients, because you are the client. You are the buyer. You are the seller. You are the wholesaler. You are the middleman. And as an agent, especially, I mean, you are the holy grail to this industry. You have the most powerful tool in the tool belt, and that's your real estate license. You could buy houses on the MLS and get paid a commission. You could sell houses for free. You could buy houses and get paid commission. You could essentially buy a house literally for free. Like, you could get paid to buy a house. So I would say that just being open-minded, understanding and finding a good mentor, somebody you resonate with and connect with, that's the most important piece. Aside from that, stay the course, be consistent. You'll find success by year 2, year 3, maybe sooner if you're even more consistent. But that's it. I mean, I said this at Milwaukee too, but this business, it's simple, but it's not easy. The hardest part is consistency.
Yeah. Is there any resource that you have out there somewhere that maybe can take a look at, that want to find out more?
agentinvestors.com. So that's the course. That's where we have our community. We're building out something really special. I've been really, really blessed to be around a lot of amazing guys in this industry that have gotten me to where I'm at and helped me elevate my game and taught me what I know. And I'm really, really happy and grateful to be able to take all of the good. I explain it like a buffet. I've been able to take the good from all these situations and put it into one, and hopefully be able to deploy that out to as many people as possible. So that's what I'm trying to do with Agent Investors. We're still at the very beginning stages, just past 300 students, but we're building a movement here. It's something extremely special. I'm very proud of it. It's my prized possession at the moment, and I am so thankful for everybody that's a part of it. So that's the best resource. We have a bunch of free resources out there too, where you don't even need to buy the course. You literally go to aistarterpack.com, download a bunch of scripts, we have free lists of realtors, we have free coaching in there, a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Do you also get benefit whenever you just recruit agents under you? Obviously you have this model, which is the MLM, kind of like the MLM.
Yeah. So this is the beautiful thing about this, is that the MLM, you join under me, I don't win unless you win. So that's the only thing I'll say is for a sales pitch, because again, I'm not a recruiter. I am a salesperson and I am a producer. I'm not here to be the guy that's trying to recruit somebody in, because a whole lot of nothing being done over at a brokerage results in nothing for an MLM. So I want people that want to win. And if they join under us, I only succeed if they do. So if I'm providing value and they're converting and doing deals, then that's my only way of getting paid through them.
I think I think that is one of the best models that have ever existed, man.
It is. I mean, put your money where your mouth is type situation, and let me show why the trainings we do are different and why we're building a special movement. I mean, we've got people in the downline. We're at like 16, 17 right now for myself. And I've had like 3 or 4 of them that have gotten deals at the new brokerage. I have people that have done more deals at the brokerage that are under me that I've done myself. So
agentinvestors.com is something that people should visit here. Now, how can people find you on social media, and are you reachable on social media?
So. It's just my first and last name at Ryan Zolin. Send me a DM. I'm trying to get through as many of them as I can. We are pretty good about it if it's something like urgent to respond to. But if it's something else, just asking questions, we'll try our best to like put you in the right resources for all the content and like resources we've got. So
All right, so everyone just go follow at Ryan Solon. He is the guy that invented agentinvestors.com. And to me, that's like a really beautiful type of brand name, man, because like you got that specific domain, and
yeah,
you obviously it's easy to search. Like if someone wants to turn into an agent investor and it's an agent or it's just like a wholesaler that wants to get their license or they just want to like work with agents, it's easy to search, easy to find out. Super cool, man. That's
I
pretty
appreciate it,
awesome.
man. Thank you so much, dude. It's been a blessing of mine, and I'm really thankful for everything that's come my way. And so I'm just trying to give back tenfold as to what I've been able to receive throughout others. So
What do you think are your next steps? Like what are how are you gonna grow this? Like where are you gonna take
I
this?
can't give away all my secrets, but we got something pretty big that's gonna be popping off in October. It's additions to the course that again can't get into too much detail. But then we've hired on director of operations. We're hiring out sales teams. Dropped 30 grand in marketing this month, so we got some stuff that's being put together. We're building, like I said, it's a movement. It's we're here to play. We're here to stay. We're here to provide. So
I think I told you, man. I think you can make it an app. You can make it a software with the name that you got.
we are in
Something like that.
negotiations in some ways where that's kind of what our vision is potential big brand speaking engagements and teaching to agents on how to utilize their license the right way. So that's where the movement side comes in.
Yeah. Well, we're going to be working with agents. Like we have been working with hundreds of agents in our digital marketing site already. Like we just provide Facebook leads with live transfers and
Yep,
Google leads with live transfers. So no one is really taking advantage of this and no one is really seeing like how much they can actually synergize with investors. So I think everyone should be taking consideration on this type of method to get more commissions, more deals, and like
for sure.
man, like usually agents to get a high commission, to get a high GCI, like they have to really work hard, but instead we're working smart. Like
Oh, dude, I mean, like, there's been deals that over the last 2 years I've assigned at cost, but I got the commission and it goes towards your cap if you're at a brokerage you're not 100% at. It goes towards your net number at the end of the year that, like, we almost hit 500K in commission last year alone for just my take home. That was just like, that's not counting like other avenues and other routes where other agents can make that kind of money themselves. Like, I know personally agents that are making on a good year 80K, and there's nothing bad about like that's fantastic, but with how much work I know came into making that 80K, what could you do to make an extra 200K that would take half as much time? Like, so that's kind of like the route we're trying to push. We're trying to, again, I just keep going back to the word movement. I want people to be aware of it. It's getting up there and being loud and being energized and excited and telling everyone about what I found. And it's a way that you can do this with literally without having to spend any money. If you're an agent, you already spent the money in being an agent. Utilize it and make your money a million times over. What I have in my real estate license, I will keep just for the sake of getting commission and being able to list properties and buy them and get paid. Like, there's just so much opportunity out there. So
can this work for Canadians that want to do deals in the US or not really?
I don't know enough about to speak on that, but if I had to give you my first initial response is it's yes. I know there's ways they can do it. My only thing that's hesitation is tax structure, legality, stuff like along those lines between different countries. I'm not sure. I do have other people I know that I'm friends with. There's guys in the community that are located in other countries that are doing deals. It's just a matter of how you claim that income. I'm not sure. So
Yeah. So I'm Canadian, and my partner in this part of the agency, she's also Canadian. So we work with majority of Americans, but there is a lot of Canadian agents. Obviously,
sure.
there's so many agents, man.
I don't know if it works like this strategy MLS wise up in Canada. I mean, I imagine it does. I don't see why it can't. It's just I don't know legality of contract law up there. So
would you be open to go on a group that we have about 15,000 agents in a Facebook group? It's only focused for real estate marketing. So there's a lot of agents in there. Would you be open to just present yourself and talk about what you've been able to do as an agent investor?
Yeah, I'd love to
in
do
a
something like that, man.
live. Okay,
I'd love to. Let's do it.
awesome. Yeah, so it's called the Real Estate Marketing and Conversion Mastery Group. So it's been it is very very active, and
Okay.
basically has taught agents how to utilize Facebook and TikTok ads to generate leads, and a lot of people will be very interested in how to move forward with this. So
Sure.
really
Let's make it
looking
happen.
forward for that. All
Let's
right.
do it.
Thank you so much for everyone that has been listening to this episode. I really, like I said, like every single person that comes in will drop nuggets. And I think that this will deserve a second episode where we're digging more into the nitty gritty and maybe some actual tactics and strategies going inside. I think this will be something that in a few months will change. He said in October something's going to happen. So I'm excited to actually get an update from that. But it was a great episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Just go and subscribe and make sure that leave us a review in the Spotify and iTunes podcasts and everywhere that you see this podcast and listen to this podcast. Give a thumbs up or a like if you're on YouTube. And thank you for listening to this episode. Thank you so much, Ryan.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me.